I'm here with my cuz, Danny Futcher, who I haven't seen. We haven't seen each other in what, like since 2019?
Yeah, probably. That sounds about right. I was at the reunion with Taylor, our family
Yeah,
reunion. I guess it would have been 2019, that summer.
yeah. And then I think we were trying to go out
Oh,
to Corey and I were trying to go to California, and then we just never made it back. But actually, we said this earlier, a couple days ago. We're going to Colorado, in September, actually,
oh, that's great. Just for vacation?
just for vacation. Yeah.
Yeah, good.
But anyways, he's a you do what? Score movies, essentially, right?
Yeah, mostly TV right now. The movies stuff I've done, I work with other composers on that.
Yeah, you did Monsters at Work, Superman,
Hmm.
Peter Rabbit at one point, I believe, and
That
there's
was as a tech though, like I was helping out. The shows I've done on my own are My Adventures with Superman and Monsters at Work. I'm doing those as a co-write with Dominic Lewis, who is like my mentor and who I've worked with the whole time. But yeah, those like Peter Rabbit, he did those movies. So I just helped out, doing the helping running the computers and stuff like that.
yeah, no, that's cool.
Yeah.
So like, how is that different compared to writing music or playing in a band? Because you were in Light of Doom back in like the early 2000s, and then City Delivered 2013 in high school and all that.
Yeah.
What's different compared between what you're doing now compared to what you did back then?
Um, it I mean, it's really different and then also similar at the same time. I mean, I for City to like and being in bands, obviously you're writing songs, so the songs are the focal point of what you're doing, right? Where movies, I mean, at the end of the day, as much as like composers think, they're God's gift, it is background music, So the whole point is the to enhance what's on the screen. So it's background music where, when you're in a band, the music is the number one thing. So that part's completely different. But then what's similar is, when you're in a band, you come up with a riff and you present it to the other guys in the band and they go, "Oh, I really like that part. Maybe change a little bit of this." And like you kind of work through the material together. And film scoring is really similar to that. We will write a piece of music. I'll present it to, the creators of the show and they'll go, "Oh, I really love that, but can you hit the door slam a little louder or whatever, So it's a collaboration similar to being in a band. At least that's how I like to work. To try to make it as collaborative as possible. Sometimes some things are like you write the music, you present it, and they just tell you how to fix it, and then that's it. There's not like a back and forth. I prefer to I like, obviously I like it better if it feels like a collaboration and because then it gives the creators ownership of the music. And I always say that like, this is a collaboration. This isn't my music. This is like the music we've kind of come up with together. So yeah, I like to share it as much as I can.
What's that like though? Like working, like making music for like Superman, because that's every nerd's dream. I'm not a Superman guy, I never really was, but what is
Yeah.
that?
Um yeah, it's amazing. It's a dream. It's a total dream. I mean, he's such an iconic character. Um I feel like Superman has like some people just aren't, yeah, like you said, you're not a huge Superman fan and but of course you know who he is, like the core elements of who he is. He's very much tied into like American culture and Western culture and kind of the morals that kind of represent that. And he's just an iconic figure. And to be able to like the little bit of like help or not help, but the little bit of, thing like, how do I phrase it? Like just be a little to be a part of it in the little way that I am is it's an honor and it's like it's so cool. Like I pinch myself every day being able to work on stuff like that. Um, he's so iconic and there's been so much great music that's been written for that character. And so, I don't even try to think about that because, it's hard to stack up against some of the great music that's been written for them, but I just try to hone in on our show and write the best music I can for our show. And I try not to think about the big stuff, how does this stack up against like all the other Superman's like stuff, and but it's an honor to be able to say that I can work on a Superman show. I mean, yeah, it's a dream come true for sure.
It's kind of like the same thing with radio. I mean, like I worked with one of the guys who was up against Stern back in the 90s.
Yeah, cool.
It was such an honor to work with him, but also we all have big egos and we all try to be better than everybody, but you can't top like the top people. It's
Yeah.
just you got to make it your own way and do it your own style, and that's how you succeed where you're at today.
Yeah, you just do your own thing, and then it falls where it does. You know, it is what it is. That's not up to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like how I first started this. Like when I first started doing this 10 years ago, I was like, let me try to be like Howard Stern. But then it's like you can't top him because you got restrictions depending on where you're on Facebook, Spotify, whatever.
Mhm.
It's kind of like let me do my own thing, honestly.
Yeah, and I think that's what you've been doing, and that's what's so great about your show and like what you do is like I remember when you were first talking about radio, a lot of people were saying, tease, you shouldn't do that. That's kind of a pipe dream. Maybe you should just be more realistic. And you just kept doing you. And I think you're seeing your hard work pay off. And if you just continue to do it, I mean, it'll, it'll keep going your way. And I think that's awesome. Like, that's what makes your show so good. You've just done you the whole time. And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah,
You should
thank
be
you.
proud of yourself.
No, I am. I mean, I will say when I first got into radio, it was hard because
Mhm.
I quit my full-time job. It was at a car place. And have you ever heard of the phrase street team?
No.
So it's basically like promotions assistant, promotions like executive, whatever. Anyways, I would go to let's say like a supermarket or the mall, and I would put like a tent up the state of whatever station I'm working for and just give out prizes to listeners. I did that for 6 months straight and did Lyft part time as well. So basically worked 7 days a week. And then my manager said, "Hey, there's a producing position that just opened. Like, do you want to do it?" I said, "Yeah, sure." So I just started doing producing in 2021 of November, and pretty much just been doing that since. And you know,
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, really cool.
yeah, I mean, I don't know. There are certain aspects of the job that I love, and there are certain aspects, but I think that's with every job that you hate as well. I mean, it's a lot of hard work, and you deal with a lot of like I deal with a lot of people, so it's a hit or miss.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a job. I feel the same way with like the music stuff. It's like, I'm not like people say like, "Oh, you're an artist." Like, what is that like? And I'm like, I'm definitely not an artist, Like this is a job and this is exactly what I want to be doing. I mean, I'm not like certainly not complaining about it. But I don't think of myself as an artist. I'm really here to like help make the best show possible. And my contribution is through music, and that's all I care about. Um, so, I have a bot or, I have a boss. At the end of the day, the show creators have to approve what am writing. So that makes me not an artist. If I was an artist, I just like express myself and then release it into the world. And that's like not what I do at all. So it's interesting when people think it's artistic maybe, but it's certainly not. You're not an artist. You're doing a job, and it's the best job. I mean, to me.
I mean, it's like the same thing with me. Like, oh, you work in radio, you must be a millionaire. No, not at all. I mean, it takes years to make
Yeah,
uh, a ton of money, and I mean, I love my job too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining either, but it's just like a lot of people think that like something that me and you do working in entertainment that we're big time stars or millionaires or whatever, and it's not the case. It's just we do what we got to do to get done, and we enjoy doing it.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, if that's your intention is to make a bunch of money, I mean, um, like go into finances. I mean, don't go into a career that's so volatile and just hard. It's just the grind. I mean, is at the end of the day, I mean, for me, I'm a freelancer. You know, I go gig to gig. That's a hard life. You know, I don't think that's for everybody. If sure, people have made good livings doing it, but I mean, if that's why you're trying to do this, I mean, if money is your goal, I mean, there's so many better ways to get money than to do this. That's for sure. Uh,
Yeah.
it's not. Yeah, if you're chasing money, you're not going to make it.
I tell a lot of kids like don't go into radio if you just want money, or don't go into whatever you want to do entertainment wise for money. It's that comes later on. But
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I was actually describing ourselves earlier too. I was thinking about like when we used to like go up camp and stuff, and I thought like, me and you are the 2000s versions of the Dukes. I mean, we weren't running from the law, but we did some crazy things growing up, fun things, but crazy things, if you remember.
Hmm. Yeah, we sort of ran from the law, wasn't there? Like, didn't we make like remember that beach like up? We didn't
Yeah.
make it, but we were like set up a fort over there. I don't remember what happened, and like I remember just looking across the river, and there was some sort of government vehicle like yelling at us or something. Wasn't that? I don't really remember.
So from
I
what
guess
I
we were
heard,
on private property, I think.
yeah, it was private property. So we were tubing down the rapids, and we didn't want to hang out with the family down the shore. So we found this own beach. We fixed it up, and
Yeah.
then we went back, and they like destroyed the island. They literally like just threw like branches and all this stuff, and we ripped down the signs like 4 or 5 times. And then that's when the big government car was
Yeah.
driving by, and they were looking at us through binoculars.
Sure. Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah. So that was a little bit against the law, but
We were kids.
besides that, we were having fun. I'll say that.
Do you remember the time that me, you, and Jess got stuck in that storm?
Yes. Oh
And
man, that's funny.
I was thinking about that earlier. Like just like it's the worst case scenario. We're us three were taking the 3 hour tubing trip, and then it looks like it's about to storm. We see lightning strike, and then that 3 hours took like 10 minutes just to get down.
Yeah.
Uh,
It was, yeah, that was funny. Especially because that was her first time on the river, tubing. So we grew up in that. So like we were used, a storm would come and, you kind of try to get out of the water and wait, and then it would pass pretty quick, and then we go back. But she was like freaked out, like she was gonna die or something. So she was really freaked out.
I almost died though. That and I don't know if you remember. We had to climb up that little like
Yeah,
rock
that wall. Yeah.
bell. I slipped, and you got me real like it
Oh
was in the
yeah. Yeah. Well, that's another good story.
yeah. I mean, there's a lot of them. I mean,
Yeah.
but what have you been up to though recently? I know you moved. You're not in LA anymore. You're like on the outskirts of LA from what you told me a few years ago.
Yeah, I live in Malibu. Um, I mean it's LA is so big. I mean, I don't even know where LA is. I mean, because everything kind of feels like it's on the outskirts, but it's because it's so big. Um, but I work in Santa Monica a little bit. Like I go into Santa Monica for work, and that's like 30 minutes away. So 30 to 45 depending on traffic. Um, so I'm close enough. But yeah, we live up here in the mountains, like kind of, yeah, not Malibu like on a beach or anything. Uh, we live like in the mountains in Malibu. So we got a crazy dog who likes to be in the mountains, and, so yeah, it's quiet. That's why we like it. Because it's like, I think when I was living closer into town, we were when you're writing music, you're critically listening all day, like whether it's you're thinking about the notes or then you're actually like mixing and stuff. So you're like very, it's really critical. And then when I get off of work, then I come home and there's sirens and there's cars and people talking and yelling. It's just like it was too much, like I couldn't like rest my ears. So once we moved to Topanga first, which is a little further out, and that was the first time I really noticed like how much I enjoyed silence. So when I'm done work, I'll go on my deck or something and it's just quiet. There's nobody here. There's no street. We live on a dead end, so there's nobody driving in front of our house, and it's just quiet. And I really, really appreciate that. Um, and it's hard to get. It'll be hard to give up, like if we, we move at some point. So I'm just trying to enjoy as much of it as I can. But the silence is a big one. I'm a little sound sensitive, so yeah, I appreciate the quiet.
Like where I'm at. I mean, we lived in a one bedroom apartment and there were sirens and we lived on the end too. People like
Yeah.
beeping. We moved to this place called Westchester, right
Mhm.
outside. Yeah, so the college is about 4 miles that way, town's 4 miles that way. We live in a development, but it's nothing but trees and bugs, and that's all you hear.
That's great. Yeah. Yeah. So you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing I hate noise. I mean, I hear it at work, you know.
Yeah. Where do you work at?
So it's a town called Bala Cynwyd. It's about a stone's throw from Philly. Like literally, you drive 5 minutes, you're in Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's a
How
nice.
far is that? How far is that from you guys?
It's about 45 minutes
Okay. And you go there every day?
every day. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. It's not too bad. You get used to it. Like, yeah, it's not too bad.
Well, it's not like it's so I get up early. We get up at like 5:30, maybe like 5 o'clock on the days I have to be there early. So like it takes me maybe 20 minutes, but if I got up at 9 o'clock, it would take me probably over an hour or maybe an hour and 10 minutes because it did that once for Memorial Day week, and I had to be at work at 2 o'clock in the afternoon to do a show, and I was late. I told the program director, I'm like, "Hey, I'm running late." He was like, "I'll run the board until you get here." It's like, "Okay."
Yeah. Yeah. Traffic could be annoying, but yeah. Oh, well.
Do you work at home though? Like, do you work at home or do you work in the studio?
Yeah. This is my work room here. And it's at home. Yeah. It would sort of be a drag if I had to go into a studio every day. But yeah, it's nice to be at home. And the big one is to be with Taylor. She's a composer too, so she has a room in here too. When I work in town, we've never worked in the same place. So, you know, for now, I like working at home. But, if we want to have a family or something, we'll see. If like I don't get any work done, then we do have to work in a studio. So we'll see. But for now, it's a good fit.
I wish I could work from home. Like I probably could if I got like a laptop and a board and all that from here, but they don't allow a lot of people to work from home,
Yeah,
unfortunately. But
makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, I like the studio. I do. It's just like so there was this guy that used to work there every day at 7 a.m. He would scream, and I mean, like the sports guys get very emotional very quickly. I mean, they're screaming at 6 in the morning. What the hell's going on in there? So like, I enjoy that, but
Oh, they're talking about the Eagles?
oh yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was a bummer.
What,
When they
last season?
last season when they lost, yeah,
We were like 10-1 or something.
10-1, and then we just kept losing.
The playoff game came around and I said, "There's no way they're gonna win that." The Bucks weren't even that good. Yeah, that was pitiful. It was really bad.
Well, it's like with the Phillies now. The Phillies, they were I think they still are number one, but they're losing every game.
I know. They were the hottest team in baseball, and then the All-Star break happened, and they were like, "Wow." I don't know what's going on with them. They were,
Can't be
but I
what?
I, I root for the Padres.
You root for the Padres?
Yeah, just because I played like Little League baseball in San Diego County, so you know everyone was a Padres fan.
I never knew that.
Like when I was little, I did. Yeah, yeah. I stopped to do music stuff. Like I probably stopped playing baseball when I was like 12 or 13, maybe. Like when Light of Doom started getting more busy. Um, yeah, then I stopped. But I played a couple, I don't know, 5 years or something of baseball. I wasn't very good, but I love baseball as a fan.
Do you like basketball or hockey?
Not really. I've gotten in. I want to get into hockey because it seems like such a fun sport. I used to. My roommate in college, Duncan.
Yeah.
He was a big Bruins fan, so he would watch the Bruins games. Like they would play. I think like 3 times a week or something. And so he would always have the games on. So I got like sort of into it, like or just started to learn the game a little bit then. Um, but I've never gotten into it ever since I moved back out here. And then basketball, I don't understand I mean, the fouls like really drive me nuts. Like it's like every single time someone's driving to the hoop, they get a foul and it just always stops and it's really annoying.
Yeah.
Um, so I kind of been turned off a little bit to basketball. It's a little too like I don't know, it stops and starts too much. And it's ironic because football is like the most stop start sport probably ever.
Oh
But
yeah.
at least I guess I'm used to that. So I don't know. I'll watch the NBA like playoffs. Those are good. Seems like they play a little bit more aggressively. The refs let them play a little harder, so I like those. But regular season, no.
Yeah, I'm not a big basketball guy. We watch a lot of UFC, a lot of the fight nights
Yeah,
and pay-per-views.
yeah. I've never gotten it really into UFC, um, but I know it's really popular. Yeah. I guess it's probably because it's always pay-per-view. So it's like it's hard to check out. You gotta like spend 60 or $100 just to watch, just to check it out. So I think that's kind of sort of stopped me from looking into it. But
We have this like we stream our cable so like we can get any pay-per-view for free for like $20 really honestly.
yeah, that's pretty good.
That's how we do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, when it comes to basketball and hockey, I don't understand it. Tori's a big hockey person, but I've been to a couple games and like the games are actually more fun than watching it on TV, I feel like.
Yeah, I've heard hockey games like in person are really fun. I've been to a couple and it's always, no matter what the seats are, it's actually pretty exciting. But you guys are Flyers fans, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then Sixers and they're doing okay, but they lost. I mean, you know.
Yeah, we'll see if the Sixers can get over the hump this year. They I don't know, but you guys got Paul George, so hopefully that'll help you guys. He's a great player, so it's exciting.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like I don't know. I feel like all Philly sports we're good like during the regular season and then playoffs come and it's just a downhill spiral.
Yeah, this is our year though for the Eagles. I feel it.
You feel it?
Oh yeah, we got Saquon, baby. We're gonna be back.
Did you watch the preseason game that happened?
No, I was going to, but I was like, I think I was doing work stuff. Um, I was like following it though, like on my phone, but. Yeah, I don't know because the starters didn't even play, so it's too hard to tell. I mean, it's fun to watch, I guess, if you wanted to see like how the rookies look, but um, no, I think we're going to be good this year. I don't know. I don't
We
like them. The best team in the NFCs are the 49ers, and I don't think they're that good at all.
no.
They did kick our butts last year, but
Well, that's because it's an attitude. I feel like we
yeah,
were 10-1 and everyone had an attitude. Oh yeah, we're undefeated. No one's going to, or we were 10-0, I think, at one point, and or
true.
nine, whatever. But they said, yeah, we're going to go all the way to the top, and then the cockiness came in, and they just lost.
Yeah, it was something must have happened, like in the locker room, I think. Like I don't know. There was a even the game. Remember, like we were 10-1, but every game was kind of sketchy. You know what I mean? They weren't like dominant. It's not like you know what I mean. A lot, a couple overtime games, and like it just wasn't sharp. It wasn't like a good 10-1.
No.
Yeah,
I was starting to think football's kind of fixed a little bit because when the Eagles lost, I was watching Green Bay because I'm a Green Bay guy too. I used to like them, the Packers because of Rodgers, but he left. But they got Love,
yeah, yeah.
and they were winning. I can't remember what team they were playing, but they were winning, and then they just like lost in the second half. I'm like, what is going on? This is unbelievable. Like the throws and the defense was just doing horrible. They kept getting interceptions. It was the worst. I'm like, what? This has to be fixed. I was actually like really convinced that the game was fixed.
Maybe who knows? It's a lot of money in that sport, but it'd be kind of probably be tough to keep everyone's mouth shut for sure. It's hard to get a whole football team of about 52 guys to not squeal, even like after they would retire or something. It'd
What
be
did you
tough.
What did you think about the whole Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey thing?
I mean, it was a little annoying. Like, I'm trying to watch football, and it's just like Taylor Swift all the time. She's not even playing. Uh, but and then the flip side of it, I've like read stories of like dads being able to connect with like their young daughters because the young daughters want to watch the games now, and like now they're able to spend time together. So that's pretty cool. Like that she was able to bring, and I'm sure she'll do the same thing this season. Like bring a lot of like young girl fans to the sport as a way to like connect to their parents. I mean, when I was growing up, I have so many fond memories of me and my dad watching the Eagles games, like on the couch. And it's cool to think that like little girls can now share those memories with their dads and moms and dads, and that's pretty cool. I think Taylor Swift is pretty incredible as far as what she's been able to accomplish, and like you know, I don't like listen to her music at all, but just because I don't listen to it doesn't mean it's not,
It's not.
worthwhile. Obviously I'm in the minority. I still listen to Bach, so I'm not like in fashion, but she's it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. We haven't had a star like this since like probably Michael Jackson, to be honest. He was probably the last. I mean, he was probably even bigger than Taylor Swift. But what she's doing, the world tours she's doing, like the tickets she sells, and I got so much respect for her during the pandemic. Like she like released like 3 albums or something, like something absurd. And most artists like release an album like every 2, 3 years. And she was just cranking them out. Like she's just a songwriter. She works hard, and it's pretty cool. Just because I don't, I'm not crazy about the music doesn't mean anything. I mean, I have so much respect for her, and so if she's bringing new fans to the sport of football, I think it's a positive thing. I mean, football is such a big part of American culture. I mean, like the Thanksgiving Day games, the Christmas Day games. I mean, it's a huge deal. Um, and that's so if she can bring families together, I mean, good for her. So I'm a fan for sure.
Yeah,
What
I
do you?
mean, well, I didn't like the whole Taylor Swift talk like when football was on because I'm just trying to watch football. I mean,
Yeah,
personally, she did bring a lot of new viewers to the game, and the Super Bowl was probably one of the most watched Super Bowls of all time because she
it
was
was.
there.
Yeah,
And I mean, so she actually got the football on good ratings, which is great. But I do agree with that a lot of dads and their daughters are probably watching the games because they know Taylor Swift might be there or not, and
yeah.
that's something I like want to do whenever I have kids. Like we want to have kids in a couple of years, and Tori was like, "Well, what do you want first?" I said, "A little girl, maybe, just so I could take her out the ice cream." Because like if I have a son, like I don't want him to do all the stuff that I'm doing, but still, like either or, it'd be fine.
Hmm.
At first, it doesn't matter. It's just
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I think it's a positive thing. Even though it's, you want to just watch the game, but you see Taylor Swift. I mean, she's not saying put the camera on me. It's not her wanting more screen time, I don't think. But yeah. I've heard like some people think it's like a conspiracy though, that like the NFL, in order to get new fans and more viewership to make more money, they've set up this fake relationship with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey, who happens to be on the best team, right? And that's suspicious, maybe. So maybe it's actually not a real relationship at all. And they're both getting paid a lot of money to act like they're together. I don't know.
Are you a conspiracy guy?
There's a couple good conspiracies I like. Um, like I like the alien stuff, pretty big like I like some of the aliens. I know you cover some of that on your show.
Yeah,
Some ghost stuff. I like some ghost kind of conspiracies. Not really into like political conspiracies, but I don't know if you would even call those like I believe in Sasquatch, you know what I mean, that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's conspiracy, but can't I guess it is. I can't prove it. I think he's out there.
Uncle Jimmy is a big Sasquatch guy.
Well, what people don't realize is it's not like this crazy monster. It's just an ape that lived in North America. If there
Yeah,
was apes like everywhere else in the world, why wouldn't there be any like in North America? That's all I'm saying. It's not like this like crazy like huge monster that like kills everything. It's just like an ape. I don't think there are that many of them, but I think he's out there.
I believe there's a Sasquatch out there. I do believe in the aliens, but I believe they're not up in space. The aliens aren't. They're in the water. There's only like 5% of the ocean is
Yeah,
mapped,
yeah.
so it's down there. I mean, I still believe that the megalodon's down there, and that's been said to
Oh
be
yeah,
dead for
yeah,
years.
yeah. I think there's a lot of stuff in the water that we don't really realize.
What did you think about that whole implosion with the sub going down to? There was like five people going to the Titanic. I thought that was kind of crazy, just random out of.
Yeah, I mean, did you see all the stuff that's come out? I think the families are suing them now. I thought I
They,
read the news. Yeah. But like all the red flags before the dive, like, with all the seals and stuff, like the seals of the doors and windows, there's like a lot of red flags. I don't think, but I mean, yeah, that's really bad. I mean, if it was really flagged, like, and they just decided to do it anyways to make money, I mean, that's pretty bad. Um, because I guess the guests thought they were safe. They thought they were, you know. But I guess when you're doing something that crazy, like you have to accept some of the risk yourself. It's tough. It's like when you go skydiving. You would assume that you're working with or not working, but the person jumping with you is a professional. They folded everything properly. You put a little faith in them.
yeah.
That doesn't mean they have every right to just like screw it up or like not follow protocol. But if you're going to go skydiving, you do have to kind of accept some of the risk as well yourself. I mean, but that's life. I mean, life is risk. So you can't just sit in your couch all day, so
Yeah, that's why we want to travel. And Tori's like, I know you're afraid to fly overseas because you're over the Atlantic for, however many hours. She's like, but you gotta accept the risk. Like, she's like, if we die, we die. There's no stopping it. She's
yeah.
like, gotta live your life. And I agree with that big time. Because I mean, I feel like I should have did more this summer. I got into a fender bender, but like I just been dealing with insurance and like
I'm sorry. That sucks.
it was bizarre. Like, have you ever been hit before? Like drive well, we both have, me and you, if you remember, in California.
When?
We were at the Getty, all three of us. So me, you, and Tori. You were driving your truck, and someone backed into you.
I don't really remember that.
I did, but
Were we
the
parked though? Like where we
no,
stopped?
we were stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, I'll never forget that. But nothing happened. Like we both didn't like you didn't exchange insurance, so she drove off, and you were just like, well, okay, well, this is what it is at this point. But yeah,
Was there any damage to my car? I don't think.
no, no, because you had the truck still, I believe.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah. No, that sucks.
yeah, no, when I got hit on July 3rd, and it was
Like a
slow,
bad wreck?
huh?
Like a bad one or
I got a dent in my car. Like I just got this new Subaru, and the guy, his car was totaled. Like his airbags deployed, all of that, and he would try to fight me too.
well, whose fault was it?
It was his.
Oh, okay. Well,
So
that's
like right lane, there was somebody in the left lane trying to come over, and they were coming over whether I stopped or not. And I slammed on my brakes, and the guy was obviously too close behind me. And we're going 45, maybe 50.
yeah.
I'm on my work, and I get hit. I'm like, mother. And then he's like, I'm about to knock your head off. Why'd you slam on your brakes? I'm like, you hit me.
Yeah. I think the rule is if you hit someone in the back, it's your fault. I'm
That is,
pretty
yeah.
yeah.
So it's nothing but insurance, and
Yeah.
when we found out when we found cheap tickets to go out to Colorado because we've been wanting to do that, I was like, let's just take the vacation. Who cares about the car at this point? We'll get it fixed when we come back.
Yeah. Where are you going in Colorado?
Crested Butte.
Oh, are you gonna see Uncle Jay?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, we're gonna stay at Arlene's place, but we're gonna see Uncle Jay.
I didn't know she had a place there.
She has like a condo. It's right in town, but it's a 4 hour drive from Denver. And so what we're gonna do, we're gonna fly into Denver, spend the night in Denver, and then drive 4 hours to her place, and then do what we're gonna do, hike and whatnot, and then see Uncle Jay and his son Ryder and his wife, and we're just gonna spend the last night in Denver and then go home.
Yeah. Little Mary lives there.
Does she really?
Yeah, with her family. You've met Adrian, haven't you? Her
Yeah, I was
husband.
up.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, of course you were. Yeah, yeah, they live there
I didn't,
with their
but
family. And Uncle Jack and Aunt Trish have a house there. But they're not there all year round. But Mary and Adrian are there all year round. They
in
live there in Denver. Yep.
Denver.
So you should like say hi or like I don't know, try to get lunch or something. I know they're busy, they got 3 kids, so they're always, running around, but you should definitely at least text her if you're in the area.
Yeah, no, I'll definitely hit her up. I didn't even know that. I thought they lived in Montana.
No. Mm-mm. Kate and Crystal live in Montana full time, but Mary lives in Denver. Yeah.
I had a golf reporter that came in today to do a couple commercials. I tried to explain to him that my cousin was a former pro golfer. He didn't believe me, and then I showed her picture, and he was just like, "You guys don't look related." I'm like, "Just because we don't look related doesn't mean we aren't related."
Well, our family's pretty bad with like we're all cousins. Even like like I've said that too. Like people refer to just cousins as like your dad's siblings' kids. Like you know, but you're my cousin. I mean, you're my cousin in my book. But like we should say my distant cousin.
Yeah,
So I like you're my distant cousin. So you should say your distant cousin is Kate. But in our family, we're all cousins. I mean, we got distant cousins, and we still count them. So
well, it was what Uncle Lance was saying. Like he was trying to explain camp to one of his friends in Florida,
Mhm.
and they were like, "Oh, so you're like rich?" He was like, "No, we're just a modern family, working class, with all different cousins in the book." Like,
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely not rich.
no,
Yeah, but I still I'm confused about how our family got that property. I think they were like squatters, if you think about it. Because wasn't like there was the hotel, right? And what like What happened? Like there was a flood or something?
The flood of 1955, and it took the hotel down, but I don't know how we owned the land.
Like I thought I heard like before the flood, the people who owned the hotel just didn't like go back to it or like take care of it. So our family just kept staying there for free and then like we're doing repairs on it and fixing it and living there. And the people who owned the hotel like were gone. And then when the hotel like got destroyed, our family was still there and then they started building houses and stuff on it. And then because after so many years had passed, then you own that property. Like squatters' rights.
I
That's
thought it,
how I understand it. I mean, that sounds kind of sketchy, but
well, I mean, I was told from Arlene, this is from Arlene's,
she would know.
she told me that we have ties with Christopher Columbus. I don't know how, but like, I guess like when he sailed across the Delaware, he gave our ancestors rights to that land.
Okay, so the
But
people who own the hotel are like great aunts and uncles or something?
that's what Arlene told me that, but that was I don't know how she knows that or if she even just made it up off of just like a story, but I think that's what she told me.
Hmm. No, she would know. She would
I would
know.
have to ask her Nan because she knows more about the hotel than like me or you would.
Oh yeah, yeah, she would know. But I thought that's how she explained it. But yeah, I could be wrong. I don't know. But somehow we got that property. I mean, it's pretty good. Like right on the river there.
I mean, it still kind of like sketches me out with the river flooding sometimes.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it'll flood again. But I guess that's why every house is kind of on the stilts, you know? So if it
Yeah,
does flood, it just goes in the basement.
which isn't that bad.
Yeah, no. Because like the basements don't even have floor. It's just like, or at least my house is just dirt. It doesn't
We
really
just
matter.
have and stuff.
You have dirt too, right? Like where
Yeah.
your canoe is and stuff. Yeah, it's all dirt. So it doesn't matter. But yeah, it's kind of funny how we all have that place. Did you go to the reunion?
Yeah, I went. I haven't been up there a lot this year. I was only up there like maybe two or three times. We're going up to see your dad one more time before we go and talk to our.
How
Um,
was how was the reunion?
it was okay. I mean, I feel like it got smaller as the years go on because like not a lot of people were there. Megan wasn't there. Beth wasn't really there.
Hmm.
Uh, but like a lot of the people from the cabin were there. Like Andrew and his two sisters, they were there. You know, Andrew has a kid, right?
No.
Yeah, he has a boy.
He married then? Or no?
I don't know if they're. I think they're in a relationship, but I know they have a kid.
Yeah, good. How's he doing?
He's doing good. He lives, I think, like 45 minutes away from where camp is. So I mean, he's doing good. Sky's doing good. She was a tattoo artist. I don't know what she does now, but she does something.
Neat, yeah. Yeah, gosh, I remember her. She was like a little girl. I mean, she's yeah. How old is she now?
She has to be like 26, maybe.
Wow. Yeah, I guess so.
And Danielle, she's
She has
married.
kids, right? Yeah.
She has a kid, and she's married to a guy named Tyler. Nice guy.
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
where does she live?
she lives in I think Nazareth.
Ah, okay.
If you remember Nazareth at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, of course. We used to swim. I used to swim against them.
Yeah, I remember you're on the swim team.
Yeah.
Your nan always brings up that story about the hamburger.
Oh, when you ordered the hamburger
The
after.
two hamburgers, yeah, and then I didn't eat. I was like struggling the whole night.
Yeah, that's a good one. My favorite one is the dog sweater that you try to wear as a hat.
Oh, yeah, that was at her old house,
We
right?
went skiing, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. And then it had the hole on top, like where the neck would go through. But it worked out pretty good because you had it like above your eyes, but then there's the flap. So like keep your neck warm. It was like a mullet style. But it makes sense because for the little dog, that goes a little further on the back.
Yeah, and then I sucked at skiing so bad. I you took us down the advanced hill if I remember correctly. But you didn't know that though. You forgot, or it didn't have like a sign that said advanced, and we were going down, and I kept falling because I fell into the tree, and then the guy tried to help me out and said, "Sorry, bud, can't do it."
Yeah, I remember that. There was like some like ditch on the side of the whole slope, and you kept falling in it. Yeah, that was funny.
That was the worst. We want to go skiing again, but Tori goes snowboarding, so I never been snowboarding, but
Stick to skiing. Snowboarding's hard.
is it really?
It's not hard once you get it. It's hard to like learn. It takes like a couple days just to like kind of get used to it. So if you're just gonna go skiing for the day, just stick to the skis.
Fix the
Uh,
skis.
yeah, it's not worth it. Like
Well,
unless you're
like
gonna be there for a week, then you should pick it up, at least try it. But just realize it'll take a couple days to get comfortable.
it was kind of like with surfing. Like when I first went out to California, like it was hard to. I mean, it was hard to even stand up. I think the last day I was there, I stood up on the board and I was happy. I was like, "Oh my God, it took a month."
Yeah, surfing's really hard to learn for sure. It's definitely not fun, I don't think, for people. Unless you're like on a big longboard and you're just doing like little crumbly waves, then it's like you can stand up, your first couple tries. But if you're actually surfing with like not a longboard and you're paddling into the lineup and like you're surfing, it'll take a while. A lot of user error.
Yeah, no, that was probably the hardest thing for me, sir. And the waves, like the sets of waves, I wasn't used to that because like I'm used to Jersey Shore style type where the waves are horrible. In California, I'm getting my ass handled,
You
and
got pounded a couple times, I remember that.
I had one big fat dude on the boogie board.
Or we went to like DMJ's on base. Do you know what I mean? Like, remember that? It was like on the naval base.
But yeah, I remember.
Stayed there for like a week, I think. And I remember it was a big south swell. It was big. That like the whole week it was really big. And that wave is like super hollow, barely wave. I mean, that wave is no joke. Like when it gets proper swell, and like that whole week was going off, and you just got slammed. I think you like stopped even going out like after like your first day there. I know we surfed many times, but that week that we were on the base, I remember it was big.
Remember those like groups of girls that were next to us, and we were playing volleyball, and I the volleyball like hit me right in the balls, and like I was I tapped out, and the dad kept making fun of me, calling me a ginger. Do you remember that?
Sort of, yeah. Like, what was that guy's deal? Like, he didn't even know us, and he's like making fun of your hair color. Like,
I
what a
think
dick.
he probably thought like he knew I wasn't a local, but like usually like it shouldn't matter if you're a local or not. Like or like you shouldn't make fun of some random kid. We were 15, 16 at the time. You shouldn't be making fun of somebody like that.
Yeah, like that was pretty lame. Like, yeah. He's like what was he, 50, 60, yeah, 50 years old. He's like making fun of a 15-year-old. Like, dude, get a life. But whatever.
We had some good though in California. That was like
Yeah, we were skating a lot. Like we were skating. Yeah, we had a good time.
I was remembering that lady. It was me, you, and Ethan, and I think we were in your truck. And there was some lady. We laughed at her rims, and she got so offended and brake checked us and cut us off and
I
wanted
don't
to call on us for because we laughed at her rims.
I don't remember that, but yeah, that sounds like something that would happen for sure.
Now here, if you laugh at somebody's rims, we just like, get into a screaming match. That's the Philly way, I guess.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
What else
I
is going on? How's the show going?
this show that we're
Yeah.
doing okay. I mean, I had a girl on. She worked with Olivia Newton-John and Paul Schaefer, and she's good friends with Kid Rock. So she was on the show. Got a girl who was on the radio in Indiana. We're around the same age. We do. She was on air So I mean, it's been okay. Just
Yeah.
doing this. I had a couple famous people on too, that were on TV, like reality TV and stuff. But I haven't really done anybody famous besides I think her name, what was her name? Kelly Lang, who was the girl that worked with Olivia Newton-John. And all. That's the only like famous person I've done. Um, I've been in contact with Don McLean's manager, try to get a hold of him.
Who's that?
The guy that sang American Pie.
Oh, okay, nice.
I've been in contact with him. I've been in contact with I think Tim Burton's manager because I want Burton on the show because I know he does interviews and stuff. So
That would be crazy. He's like super cool.
you like Tim Burton?
I like his movies. I don't really know him as a person, not but I like his movies for sure.
I got to meet you know the band the Hooters, right?
No,
Never heard of the Hooters?
no.
Wow, they're big in Philly, but they were big in like the 70s, 80s era.
Okay.
So working in radio, I've met a lot of like interesting people. Met the drummer from the Hooters, met the saxophonist from the Revivalists. Do you ever hear the name Billy Mitchell?
No.
It was like this video game guy that like won in Pac-Man, like got the highest score, and everyone thought he cheated, but he looks like Keanu Reeves a little bit.
Okay. No.
And I got to talk to the governor on the phone of Pennsylvania, which was pretty cool.
Wow.
That's all working in radio though. I mean, like
Yeah.
other and I met a couple country singers too because the country station does have like concerts throughout the week, like
Hmm.
time, and they just perform like a private concert for us, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But other than that, I mean, I just do this maybe, twice a week, find somebody interesting. I do the interview style like Joe Rogan kind of in a way. I kind of use his style of just like not like saying, "Oh, so what do you do for a living?" "Oh, okay, yeah, whatever." I go in conversations like we have. Like I rather do conversational style than just like, "Oh yeah, you're
Questions.
yeah," because
Yeah.
that's it's not fun to me, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, you should get Taylor on. She would do it. She's worked on a couple cool films this year that she could talk about.
Yeah, no, that would be cool. I would definitely have her on soon.
Yeah. But what else?
What else? What?
Yeah.
What? What? Yeah, it's been a while. I mean, I'm an open book at this point.
Yeah. Well, so tell like what the other episodes of your show, like what is the subject matter? Do you have a guest every time or no?
I try to. So basically the last interview I did, and it's going to air next week, as well as this one. But he made a movie called Delco the movie. He was the creator, the writer, the producer, and basically Delco is a small town in
Yeah.
Delaware where I grew up. And I thought it was interesting because okay, I grew up in Delco. Let's see if this guy knows what Delco really is. Let's pick his brain, and that's pretty much what's the subject matter for him. Like, okay, like you're a producer. Why make Delco the movie? What was the purpose of that?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I don't want people to die in Delco, and that's like going from a kid's point of view. They don't want to die in Delco. They want to do something crazy with their life, and he based it off of John Hughes, like the Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller. He kind of
Yeah.
based it off of, but made it his own certain style.
Cool.
I just have people on that do anything really, like music, paranormal investigators, really anybody.
Yeah. Yeah. I
TV.
like the paranormal stuff that you do.
Yeah, that I did a little bit of that on YouTube as well. Like there was this stupid like spirit box app that I saw the YouTubers would use, so I used that in one of the things on YouTube I did, and then I started doing like Ouija board stuff, which it's a penny and a piece of paper. I don't want to drop $20 on a board game that I don't even know if it works or not, you
Yeah.
know. But there was one time where I put like this penny on the paper I made, and I put it in my car, and it moved by itself, which was really bizarre because I don't have a string. I have like my hands are just free, and you could clearly tell one's holding the phone and one hand is pointing out that it's moving.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Pretty good. So That sounds kind of entertaining. At least I've seen one of your videos. It weren't like you were like visiting a haunted like woods or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, probably a couple of years ago, but yeah, I liked that one.
I do a lot of videos on TikTok now. It's like I do creative horror series pretty much.
Oh, cool.
And it's the one thing that put me on the map. I did a series where I was being stalked, quote unquote, and I was just like, oh my god, there's a car there. It's been following me, and then it got like 10,000 views within the first like 24 hours. I'm like, let's see how far I can go with this, and I just kept upping the ante, and I made Tori chase me with a big like butcher knife, and she almost stabbed herself because she tripped with the knife in her hand, and the knife is like a Michael Myers knife. She almost like
Gosh.
died from a video. I'm like, oh my god, I mean, can't do this anymore.
Did people believe you?
It's a half and half mixture. Some like are like, oh my god, like call the cops, and then you got others that are just like, this is fake, it's bullshit.
Oh
I
man.
to get rid of the hate comments, especially like doing a podcast. Like a lot, like somebody would criticize my interviewing skills. We're like, you're stuttering at your interview. I'm like, dude, some of these interviews I do, they're mostly at night, and by that point, I'm already beat. Like,
Yeah,
like even in the morning, because like sometimes I'll do an interview and then they just don't want to have a conversation, so it's kind of just a dud. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. I'm sure that happens, but just keep on keeping on. You got this.
I mean, I'm proud of you though with what you're doing because everyone told you what you were doing wasn't realistic. Like you're
Yeah.
doing I mean, you're doing what you're doing. I'm proud of you for doing that.
I'll do it until I can't. If this doesn't work, then I'll be like an overland firefighter or something. I don't know. Do something else, but yeah. No, I mean, yeah, a lot of people said not to do it. I mean, I don't really blame them for saying that. I don't, it makes sense, but you know, you got, I have no, what else can I do? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't have any other skills. I mean, and this is barely a skill. I have so much to learn. It's crazy. So, you know, I'm just gonna keep doing it as long as I can. As long as people will have me, I'll do it. And then if it doesn't work out, then do something else. So I try not to be too fussed about it. I try not to put too much pressure on it. You just try your best, I guess.
I tell my so I'm an executive producer at my job, so I'm the one that oversees all of everybody. I
Hmm.
tell them, like, don't take this job serious. It's a dopey job. I was like, we sit here buttons all day and maybe talk on the air if they want us to. And a lot of people take our job serious. I mean, you have to take it serious, but I mean, like to the point where they're flustered, and I'm like, dude, don't just stop. Don't take it serious. You gotta like calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
And they always ask me why I'm calm. I'm like, well, I smoke weed. I mean, that's how I cope. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure on these jobs because they're hard jobs to get, and like there's so many people that would like happily take your place. So you feel like you have to be great. You have to like uh, work harder than everyone. And I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into this. It's hard work no matter what. So you're not gonna get around that. But like the whole thing, there's just so many people behind us that would be happily take our jobs. So people put a lot of pressure on themselves. And I think that sort of it does it, it's good to have pressure for sure because that helps you stay lean and like, it makes you better. But if the pressure just like I've seen it like ruin people. Like they're so stressed about doing a good job that they actually like end up writing music that's way worse than they normally would have written
yeah,
because of just stress. And that just kills me. I hate seeing that. Talented people who are just not writing up to their potential because of stress. So I try to just, I don't know. I've done music for so long So it's like I've never like, if people don't like my music, then whatever. That's the other thing too. Like you have to have thick skin in our business. If people are gonna say, I don't like what you do, I don't want to hire you. And you can't be like sad about it. You just go, okay, let's try to let's try to work with someone who does like what I do, you know? So that's just the nature of our business, you know?
And that's the thing, like a lot of people don't have thick skin. I mean,
Yeah.
we both know you have to have thick skin in both radio and music. I mean, I had one major flub at one of the classic rock stations about 2 years ago, and I I wanted to break down, but I knew if I broke down in that moment, it would
Hmm.
be in that career. I wouldn't be working there anymore. And then I finally just was like, all right, well, two mistakes. I won't make any more mistakes at this point.
Yeah.
They invited me back. I worked with them for still working with them. Even in the next week, we're doing Bruce Springsteen next week. So, I mean, it's just like I put pressure on like one of the biggest stations because it's the number one station in Philadelphia right now. It's top number one station of all the stations in Philly.
That's awesome.
So,
What station is it?
1029 MGK.
Okay. Cool.
Classic rock. It's like when I was told it was number one, it kind of made me happy because like in high school and people telling me not to do it, like how many people can say they work for the number one classic rock station?
Yeah.
That
Uh,
I'm not on the air, but I'm behind the
yeah, you're a piece of the puzzle, just like me. I'm not like the star. I don't even want to do that. I'm a background music guy. That's my job, and I'm happy to do it. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It's fun. I love entertainment. I mean, like you said, you're going to do it as long as you can. I'm going to do it as long as I can. I mean, maybe even do like another podcast with somebody and make it like bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard too. You just got to find the right like niche, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
But
there's so many podcasts now. I'm sure it's probably hard to stick out, but if you could find your thing, yeah,
it's
it's
like
tough.
it's weird how like Joe Rogan just became so big though.
I think, yeah, but wasn't he like one of the first podcasts? Like him
I
and Mark Maron.
Yeah, I think they
They
were
were
the
like,
first.
I think Mark Maron was first, I think, and then Joe Rogan started. So like they had just been doing it, I think, for so long, and they're also celebrities. So like they get celebrity guests, and people, fans of them, want to tune in. So if like you're not a celebrity, so it's like you need to find a niche, like a specific subject matter or something that like the subject matter brings people in versus like the guest that you would have. Um, so it's just a different way. But a lot of shows are like that aren't famous people doing them, but they're popular shows because they're about like whatever. And then over time, those people do get popular on their own. So then they can branch out to do a different style show and they bring a lot of fans just because people are fans of them. But at the start, try to think of like um what's that? There's a podcast called American, I don't remember. American something. And they just talk about really like kind of obscure, like weird phenomenon and kind of just weird things that happened historically. And like they have a great show. And they're not famous. So, there's a lot of good shows out there.
I had a couple sponsors in like 2020, and then right right around the election, like I gave my views on what I thought, and then they dropped me because they said, "Oh, we don't agree with your views, so we're dropping you." I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Well, that sucks."
Yeah.
I mean, but I've learned like at the same time, like with the whole political thing, you're allowed to have an opinion no matter what people think, and that was the thing that just pissed me off. It's just like we live in a generation where we can't like have an opinion, or if you have an opinion, someone has to rebuttal it, and it's just a whole mess that I hate.
Yeah, it's sort of a shame, how divisive we are now. If someone says something you disagree with, a lot of people like hate them. And that's kind of sucks. You wish it was just like, oh, I disagree with you, but I like what you do. But yeah, politics, I guess I'm not that into it. So I don't
I
know.
just-
Maybe I should be. I know it's important, but I'm busy with the work.
One of the shows I do a political show on Wednesdays. I'm on air with them all the time, and some of the things they talk about is just nuts. They talk about chemtrails, and they said there's like some gas that they're spraying to make people turn gay, and like in California, I'm like, I never like what? Who you guys are? I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Maybe I was shopping. There's a couple guys I thought were pretty cute. Must be the chemtrails.
It's just nuts. Um, Speaking of chemtrail, or well, completely different topic. Let me get out of this way. I wanted to tell you this earlier. Your nan changed her name, by the way, your last name.
So what?
Well, it's future, but it was Futcher. That's what it was.
Oh yeah, she definitely changed it.
No, she told Amanda that.
Oh yeah, I know she did. Yeah, that's pretty classic.
Yeah, because we hang out with Amanda from time to time, Amanda and Trayvon, and she told us the story. I was like, oh, I never knew that. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah, you ever seen that show, Keeping Up with Appearances?
I've bits and pieces.
Dan used to watch it. Remember, like we would watch it every night. It's like the English lady, and she goes, "It's the Bouquet residence." You remember her? It's
Yeah,
like an English show. It's hilarious. It's a comedy show. But that's what I don't know if she got it from that. No, because she changed it to Future like way before that show even came out. But like it's the same thing. Her last name in the show is Bucket, but she pronounces it Bouquet. So like to seem more fancy. So I think Nan, because it's spelled like butcher, right, with an F. So it's Futcher, I think. But she's changed it to future, and it's really not future. Maybe a future, like future. I don't know, but it's a stretch, that's for sure. Like people will say like Daniel Futcher, and I go, it's future, and they look at the name, they go, "Are you sure it's future?" And I go, "It's future." So I just roll it. I mean, I've been doing that my whole life. So Daniel Future. Then
well,
that's my grandmother. So
it's the same thing with jobs with me. They're like, so your name's Robert, but you go by TJ. Why do you go by TJ? I gotta like tell them, well, my middle name's Todd Jr. and we go by middle names on my dad's side, and that's what it always was. And I do that all the time for
yeah,
jobs. It's ridiculous.
yeah. I don't blame you.
Yeah, it's oh well. Um, I don't even know. I thought I had more, but is there anything you want to promote before we bounce?
No, it was good catching up with you.
Yeah, no, it was really good catching up with you. We gotta link up sometime, whether if I go out there, you come back here.
Yeah, we'll be back out there soon, I'm sure. So we'll make sure we see you. Of
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, that's really it. Thank you again for yeah. We'll catch up more soon.
course. Awesome. It was good chatting. Teach. Tell Tori I said hey.
Tell Taylor I said hi too.
I will. All right.
Uh,
Have a good night, dude.
yeah, have a good night.
Bye.